Hello and welcome everyone to this session on Microsoft Reading Progress that sits within Microsoft Teams. My name is Pam Curry. I'm from Tablet Academy Scotland, and we're delighted this year to be supporting Microsoft as a regional development partner in Scotland. So, Reading Progress tool. What is it? How does it work? So, the Reading Progress tool is available in Office 365 as part of Microsoft Teams. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to jump in to share my screen, and then we're going to go through how to set up an assignment. We're going to look at it from the data point of view when we get the assignments back in, and we're going to have a little look at how to set one up and what the student view of that is like. So, reading progress, not just for English teachers, not just for, primary teachers assessing reading aloud. This is something that could be really, really useful and insightful for any educator, and actually specifically secondary educators dealing with technical language. So maybe, science classes, maths classes, history, PE even. It's something, reading fluency affects attainment, it affects understanding. So if someone's got a barrier to fluent reading or maybe some technical terminology, it's really helpful for us as educators to be able to understand that, to be able to get insights into the type of language that they struggle with, and obviously then to be able to put supports in place to make that learning just a little bit easier for our children and young people. So I'm going to dive right in just now to share my screen, and we're going to have a little look at reading progress and just how amazing it is. So here we go. So just bear with me as I share my screen. So where we are now is office.com. Now remember, in Scotland, if you're in Glow, you can go to the Glow login and access any of your Office 365 apps from there. But the easiest thing to do is to go to office.com, use your Glow username and password for Microsoft, and then sign in. So you can see here I'm on my office.com homepage, and the app that we need for today's session is Microsoft Teams. So you'll know that you go over to the app launcher on the left-hand side, and we're looking for Microsoft Teams. So I'm just going to click on that now, and we're going to open up Teams. So I've set up a few assignments for today's session, and in it, it's in this class here called Pam's Team. So I select the class there, and I'm going to click up into the Assignments tab just to have a little look at some of these assignments that have been handed in. So I think it's always good just to see the kind of finished result. So we're just going to dive into this reading progress assignment here, and you can see that a number of my students have already handed this in, some of them a wee bit late, but I can click into this assignment, and what I see is really, really powerful. So what I see here is the teacher view for feedback and marking. So you can see here that I have a video player where my student, Dan, has read a passage for me. Now he's quite quiet. We don't need to hear him listening it. We don't need to hear him reading it. But you can see that I have his video and audio recording of him reading this passage. And I have some data about how well Dan did with this. So I can see in this top bar here that he read 135 words per minute correctly, that he had an 80% accuracy rate. And then I have some color coded data. So if we look here, we can see mispronunciations, we can see omissions, and we can see insertions. There's no data available here for repetitions or self-corrections, but this information is really important. So if I click on this word here that's highlighted, I get this little drop down menu, and I'm just going to zoom right in on that for you. So this little drop down menu, there it is there. It's clicking off for me. I think I'll just zoom out a bit. So you can see here that we've got a number of assessment criteria. So we've got mispronunciation, we've got omission, insertion, repetition, and self-correction. And these are all aspects of reading that can affect someone's fluency and therefore their comprehension and understanding. So I get really insightful information about this pupil color-coded to each of these categories. I can see up here on this menu along the top that he had one attempt. I can get this Lexile level or score, and I can see how many, that's the score for the passage difficulty level. And then I get how many words the passage was. I can go over to the right hand side, of course, and I can give feedback and then return that work to my student. So, what we're going to do now is just dive in to Teams and see how we might create an assignment like that. So, heavily baked into Teams, this is the only way you can create a reading progress assignment. And we're in a team here. I need to go up to my assignments tab. And you can see here that I have a number of assignments that I've already created. So what I'm going to do is go down to the bottom here to the purple create button, and I'm going to create a brand new assignment. So this is just like creating any assignment in Teams, just a regular assignment until we attach the reading progress aspect. So what I need to do just now is I need to give my assignment a title. So I'm just going to call this one Reading Water Cycle. So we're going to do, this one is going to be about the reading cycle, and then I can just type in some instructions. Read passage and record. So that's my simple instructions. Maybe not particularly great, but that's my instructions. At this point, I need to click on this paperclip icon here, and I'm going to click attach. So when I click attach, you'll see I have a new drop-down menu, and I want to attach a reading progress assignment. So if I just click on reading progress assignment, you'll see a new screen opens up. Now at this point, I have a choice to make as an educator. Do I want to use the sample library, or do I want to upload my own Word or PDF? Now that's really important, and it's really great because you can use the sample library that's built in, where there are Lexile scores already and sample text allocated to various different levels, or I can upload my own text for my own subject, my own topic, and maybe that would be more useful for my students. What I'm going to do first today is I'm going to browse the sample library, and we can just begin to understand what reading progress is all about. So you see now I have a new window that's opened up here, and I have a logo from ReadWorks in the bottom left-hand corner, which tells me that all of the passages have been supplied by ReadWorks, and they're available in English. That doesn't limit you to English, because remember, you can upload your own passages. So you can see along the top here, we have grade level from kindergarten right through to secondary. So obviously you'll have to match those American levels to your own levels, either in Scotland or elsewhere in the world. So what I want to do now is just have a look through some of these passages. We're going to start with kindergarten, and we're just going to have a quick scroll through. Now, there's not a huge range of passages here, but there are quite a few. So let's just talk about these columns. You can see we've got the reading progress title, and then you can see we have the genre, fiction or non-fiction, and a Lexile level. So Lexile levels, remember, are just a way of figuring out the difficulty or sophistication of the language and vocabulary in a passage of reading. You can Google or Microsoft Edge search the Lexile levels, and obviously you'll be able to allocate them, you'll be able to assign them, consider them against our own levels in the curriculum. You also get this word count, and you can filter these columns as well. So you'll see I'm filtering that now by word count. And you can see that this being kindergarten has a small word count, but as we progress through the levels, the word count increases, the Lexile score increases, and of course the difficulty level of the reading passage increases. So let's just consider this from a student's point of view. And what we're going to do is just set up a reading progress assignment. So we see we have one here on the water cycle. And if I'm an educator, I can hit preview and just have a look at this passage, assess the language, assess the vocabulary, the sentence construction, and just try and figure out if this is appropriate for my students. I'm happy with this one. I can see the Lexile score in the top right hand corner again, and I can see the number of words, and I'm just going to hit select to choose this passage. So at this stage, we're given a kind of teacher preview window, and here what we can do is just check that the assignment is okay. If we aren't happy with the passage, we could click in the top left above the passage to choose a different one, and at that point we'd be taken back to the sample library. In this case, I'm just going to keep this passage because I'm quite happy with it. Drawing our attention now to the right-hand side of the screen, you can see we have a few settings. So I can check the reading level. That's automatically been pulled in from the sample library. I confirm that it's a non-fiction passage. And the next option on the right-hand side is the number of attempts my students will be able to have. So this is the number of attempts they can have at reading the passage and trying again. So I'm just going to set this as 2. I'm going to give them 2 chances, 1 practice, and then another go. So you can see here, I'm not going to give a time limit, but you could do. Obviously, that might be in your interest. And then we have another setting, pronunciation sensitivity. So I'm going to set this because my students have quite a strong Scottish accent and dialect. So I'm going to set this as less sensitive. You can make a decision there about the difficulty. The next option is a toggle button for requiring video. Now, this is a video-based assignment. You could see in my preview that my student Dan had recorded himself on video. Your students may not have webcams, so you might want to switch that off, in which case it would only be audio. And just to flag up that if you're on a mobile device, it's only audio that's supported at the moment. So reading progress on mobile only supports audio. I'm going to set this up as a video assignment though, and I'm quite happy with all my settings. So in the middle here, I have my passage, and on the right, I've chosen my settings. Now, just to confirm, I'm going to click into student view. So that's on the top right-hand corner above the assignment, and I'm going to hit student view and just see what my students are going to experience. So here we are now in the student experience. So this is exactly what your students will see when they undertake a reading progress assignment. You'll see that they have a little video preview screen here. You can see that their microphone is picking up audio, which is all perfect. Now, if the student hadn't been in and to this assignment before, to reading progress before, they'll need to give permission to their microphone and their camera on their device. So I've already done that. So you can see my camera is here. My microphone is picking up my audio. And at this point, I can click start. I get a little summary that I've got 2 tries, that I've got a minute to read it. And I'm just going to hit start and show you what a great experience this is from the student point of view. So if I click on start, you see I get a countdown. And at this point, I'm recording. So this is now recording for me. Now it opens up in a really clear and immersive full screen experience. No distractions here. You can see that I have the title of my passage in the top left. You can see the red button, which indicates I'm recording. And then over on the right-hand side, just going to draw your attention to a couple of little icons. So the one on the extreme right is just a full screen toggle. So I can come out of full screen or go back into full screen. I really like that it opens up in full screen to begin with, so my students become immersed in this reading assignment. You'll see the immersive reader icon is also next to the full screen toggle, And let's just think about some of the immersive reader options that are available. Now, this is a reading assignment, so our job here is to read the passage. So we're not obviously going to get some of the aspects of immersive reader that we may be used to, such as playing the text aloud or switching language. But what we can do is we can adjust the font size. So this could be really helpful for some of your students. We can toggle the increase spacing button on or off, and we can change to dyslexic friendly fonts or adjust our overlays in there. So some of the features built in to reading progress from Immersive Reader. Okay, so now that we've discussed the few features that are available to students, we could just start reading our passage. Remember, this has been recording audio and video. I've limited the time. It's recording audio and video, and so my recording is there. And what I could do now is I could either use that recording or try again. I can review it as a student, so I could just hit play and see my recording there. If I'm not happy with it, then I just need to hit the try again button, at which case I'm able to restart the assignment. So I'm just going to restart it because we ran out of time there on that demo. So I've got the passage here. I would read through every sentence, and then at the bottom, when I'm happy, I would hit I'm done. Again, preview window there. We can review it, and then we can submit this. Now, remember, this is my second attempt, so I limited it when I set the assignment up. So I'm as a student now, I only get that one go, and I would just hit next and then hand that assignment in. So I'm going to exit the student view and just return back to the teacher view. Remember, this was us just previewing the student experience there. So what we did to do that was we clicked above the passage when we set the assignment up, and then we just previewed the student view. I'm going to come back out of that. And in the top right-hand corner, to finish setting up my assignment, I need to choose the next button. When I do that, Teams performs some magic in setting up the assignment, and I'm taken back to the assignment setup page. You should be familiar with this already, but this is how we would set up any assignment in Microsoft Teams. Now, we've already added the title. We've already added our reading progress assignment. We might now want to assign some points to this assignment. We could add a rubric if we wanted. And of course, we can personalize this assignment to some or all of our students. So I'm assigning it to my class Pam's team. And over on the right-hand side, I can decide if I want this to go to individual students, maybe just choose a couple of individuals in my class whom I know this is perfect for, and I could assign that to them. Or, of course, I could go for a group of students or indeed my whole class. So once you've chosen the students, it's a case of setting the due date. I'm going to make this one for tomorrow, and then choosing a time, and I'm going to go for 10 a.m. Perfect. So what I can do now is decide where this goes. Does it go to calendars? Yes, I'd like this to go to all my calendars. And once I'm happy with that, I can either save it as a draft for later review, or I can go and assign it directly to my students. I chose to assign it directly to my students. And what you can see here now is I have this assignment titled The Water Cycle, and it is due tomorrow. If I want to click into that at any point, just to see if anyone's handed it in, or indeed to return it and give feedback and a score, then I can just click in. I'm just going to go back to the assignments tab because we're going to take a look now at some assignments that my class have already completed. We're going to look at the teacher review aspect of assignments now, reading progress assignments. So I'm going to click on this one up here that says reading progress assignment. And here I have an overview as an educator of everyone in my class who's handed in this work. We already took a look at Dan's work there. I'm just going to click into Carol's now, and we'll see Carol beginning to do her assignment. You can see Carol managed to read 137 correct words per minute. Her accuracy rate was 92%. And over here we had a few mispronunciations, a few omissions, some insertions, and some repetitions. Now, just like any artificially intelligent tool, this will not be 100% accurate. Maybe there was problems with your pupil's audio, but the brilliant thing about this is that you can review it and you can actually override the reading progress tool's assessment of their reading. So for example, if I click on this word visited, you can see it's in there as a repetition. And what I can do is I can just jump to that word. So a little menu popped up and I click jump to word. And this is magical. If I click jump to word, then what's going to happen is it's going to take me directly to that word in Carol's assessment. So let's just do that again. We're going to jump to the word and then we're going to just hit play. It's just struggling a little bit to play that. I think we're just doing a little bit of a lag going on there, but you would be able to hear the person, the student, playing, saying that word, and you would be able to assess whether it was indeed a repetition, as we're told up here. And what you could do is you could actually override that and mark it as correct. So if you decide that that's not a repetition, then you could just mark it as correct and kind of override the default. So I've just marked that as correct now. It's adjusted the data and it's taken away that highlighted text. I go through all of these. I can just double check. We can just jump to that part of the assessment. We're working now. So you see I jump to that word there. If I do the same with winding and I jump to that word. Streets are made of paper and wood. Most houses are small with just. So I don't think Carol really did make a mispronunciation there. Perhaps the sensitivity was a wee bit high. Perhaps I can adjust that. I'm just going to filter down with this slider on the left-hand side. Still picking that up as an error. But remember, I can go in and I can say, well, Carol, I actually heard you say that correctly. I'm just going to mark that as correct. So you're in full control as an educator of how you mark this work. Now, just to highlight that, underneath the video, you'll see that we have this auto detect toggle switch. So I can toggle that on or off. And what you can see is that reading progress is either auto detecting errors, omissions, mispronunciations, insertions, etc., or I'm able to do it as an educator and just go through, listen, watch the video, and mark them myself by highlighting words. So I'm just going to switch that off. And for example, I could click on any of these words. Maybe Carol struggled with Yokohama. I can click on that and I could just put that in as a mispronunciation and then begin to mark it myself. So you're in full control. Whether you choose to auto-detect and then edit what you hear or what you observe from your student, or if you just want to go through the passage yourself, you're in full control of all of this. And the data that we are gathering is really quite impressive. Over on the right-hand side, you can see that you can enter feedback and give your students a score. I'm just going to go for the 92% accuracy rate for my score, and then I'm going to return, or remember, I could return for revisions. So I'm just going to return that now to Carol, and Carol's going to get that feedback. Okay, we're going to return back now. We're going to close this off, and we're going to return back to the assignments tab because I want to show you that you can upload your own content. So if we go back to the assignments tab to set up a new assignment, I'm going to hit create in the bottom corner, and we're going to choose assignment again. We're not going to bother with the title just now because I just want to quickly show you how you would add your own document or your own text. So if you click on attach at this point, then we can see the drop down menu again, and I can choose reading progress. Now at this point in this little garden with the bee, we can decide not to browse the sample library, because this time I want to upload my own Word file to the assignment. So you can see here, I've got a couple of Word files. I'm just going to go to find my Word files. Here's one here, press release, I'll do. So this is a press release template. I've just quickly chosen it. It's not the file that I was looking for, but never mind. What's happening now is it's uploading my Word document into Reading Progress and creating that assignment for me, which is superb. So you can see it's brought in my passage. Now there's a lot of text formatting. It's not quite right here, so I can just click in there and maybe pop in a few paragraph returns, or just kind of change the way that looks. What I didn't do there, of course, was click the pen icon to edit it. So I need to go up to the top here and just click on edit. And at that point, I can do my paragraph returns and format it. Once I'm happy, I just click on the check button in the bottom right-hand corner, and I've edited that passage. Remember, I can choose a different passage, and I can go into student view again and just experience that from the student point of view. Over on the right-hand side, remember, is where I would enter my reading level. So this is a uploaded document. It doesn't detect the reading level automatically, but you as an educator will have a good idea of that. This does affect the data that you get back, so I would make sure to be consistent with your reading level, because it will affect your insights. Again, passage, non-fiction, how many attempts they're going to get, and if there is a time limit. And again, the pronunciation sensitivity I'm going to choose as more sensitive for this one, and then I'm just going to hit next, and it's going to create my assignment for me. So what's left today is just to spend the next few minutes, and I'm running short of time, but we're going to just take the next few minutes to look at the insights and data, which is really, really powerful aspect of reading progress. So I'm going to look at one of the assignments that I have some data from. So you can see in here, I've got 4 reading progress assignments. And if I click in there, I'd be able to review them. Now, before I do that, I'm going to draw your attention to the top menu in Teams and the Insights tab. If you're not familiar with insights that you can get in Teams, I really suggest you check it out. Data is the future for all of us. And I've got this really nice data dashboard beginning to develop just for reading progress and the assignments that I've set. So my phone was ringing, unfortunately, there during that. So you can see here I've got this nice overview of my team and the assignments and assessments and engagement within the team. If I just click into this reading progress assignment, Dan was especially challenged with readings this month. Fantastic. So that's my general overview dashboard of assignments there and my general team engagement. I'm going to click into this reading progress one just now, and we're going to have a look at Anya's work. So here we have Anya's reading progress assignment, and I can begin to see how Anya did for pronunciation and accuracy. In the top right hand corner, I can now click into insights, and I can begin to get specific insights for reading progress. This is where it becomes really exciting. So this is focused on Anya. I can see our average accuracy rate. I begin to get a picture of our mispronunciations and omissions, and I can hover over all of these and just pick out aspects of the data that could be really powerful in helping me to support Anya as one of my students. I might want to put in some interventions with additional support needs department. I can see our average words per minute. Remember, this is interactive data, so I can hover over these data points and just get a little overview of what that data is telling me. Really, really powerful. And I can see here down the bottom, this is a bit that really, really excites me. I can see the words that she struggled with. That would teach me as an educator that I maybe need to put in some extra supports for that vocabulary. So think about, science, there's maybe some terminology. If all of my pupils are struggling with that terminology, then perhaps I want to look at supports I can put in to support them. I can filter this information by time, and of course reading levels and genres. I'm in Anya just now, but I can just close that off and begin to get a picture of my whole class. So this is now data for my whole class. That is super, super powerful. I've got a really nice kind of almost like a word cloud of the words that they found challenging. No surprise that Kyoto and some of these Japanese words were tricky. And then I get my whole class now, my whole student list, and I can very quickly just interact with this data and find out what it's telling me. So how many people are mispronouncing? How many people are, adding in extra words? And then, of course, this really powerful section here telling us the words that they are struggling with. A super powerful tool is reading progress. I love the fact that you can see a video of your students reading, and then you get this really powerful data and insights into that data to help you put in more supports. It's a great tool, really focused on education and learning progress, and reading and literacy is so crucial to that. Can't recommend it highly enough. And I'm just going to pop back to my stream now and say thanks so much for joining us today. I really hope you found that useful. We've got loads more Microsoft support sessions coming up this session and into 2022, and it would be absolutely brilliant if you could join us. Thank you.